The first time it happened, I assumed it was a glitch. It was 1:43 a.m. I was half asleep on the couch, laptop open on the coffee table, some video paused mid-frame. The room was dim, lit only by a standing lamp in the corner and the faint blue glow of the screen. I wasn't even using the camera. No calls, no apps open, nothing running in the background. And yet, small green light flicked on. Steady. UMBLINKING. The camera indicator. I stared at it for a few seconds, trying to process what I was seeing. Then I laughed quietly. Update bug, I muttered. I closed the laptop. The green light stayed on. That's when the laugh faded. Normally, when you close a laptop, everything cuts. Screen off, camera off, system sleep. But the green dot remained visible through the tiny gap near the hinge. Still glowing, I opened the laptop slowly. The screen turned back on. Normal desktop. No pop-ups, no camera app, no browser permission request. I checked the task manager. Nothing unusual. CPU usage normal. No suspicious processes. I opened the camera app manually. It took a second longer than usual to launch. When it finally opened, the preview showed my living room. From my laptop's position on the table. Everything normal. I waved my hand in front of it. The image responded perfectly. No delay. No distortion. I closed the camera app. The green light turned off. Sat back. Waited. 10 seconds. 20. Nothing. I shook my head. Glitch. I shut the laptop down completely this time. Full shutdown. The screen went black. The fan powered down. Silence. And then, 3 seconds later, the green light came back on. Steady. My stomach tightened. The laptop was off. There was no STARTUP sound. No boot screen. Just the indicator light. I leaned closer. It wasn't flickering. It wasn't dim. It was fully active, like something on the other side had opened the camera manually. I pressed the power button. Nothing happened. Pressed and held. It. Still nothing. It was already off, but the camera light remained. I slowly turned the laptop over. The bottom was cool. Not running. Not warm. No fan. I closed the lid completely and pressed it shut firmly. The light was still visible in the seam. That's when I noticed something else. My phone buzzed. Notification. New device signed into your account. Location. Current location. Time. 1:44 a.m. Device. Unknown. My throat went dry. I opened the security details. IP address listed. It matched mine. Exactly. The device type was labeled. External camera interface. I stared at the words. External? I don't own an external camera. I don't have a USB webcam. The only camera I own is the one built into this laptop. I looked back at the green light. Still on. My apartment felt smaller. Suddenly. Quieter. Like the air had thickened. I picked up the laptop, walked into the bathroom. Turned on the bright overhead light, placed it on the counter. The green dot glowed back at me in the mirror. Watching, I grabbed a piece of tape from the drawer, covered the camera lens completely. Thick, opaque black tape. Pressed it down firmly. The light stayed on. Of course, it did. The indicator doesn't care. If the lens is blocked. It just means the sensor is active. I opened the laptop again. The screen didn't turn on. Still off. But the camera light continued glowing. I felt something shift in my chest. Not panic. Not yet. Just the creeping realization that this wasn't a software issue. This wasn't malware. This wasn't a bug, because the system wasn't running. And yet, the camera was. My phone buzzed again. Another notification. Live session started. Platform unknown. Duration 0:02. I didn't open it. I didn't click anything. But the duration counter was running. 0 minutes 3 seconds and 0 milliseconds. 4:0:05. I looked at the laptop in the mirror, then back at my phone. The duration kept increasing. 0 minutes 9 seconds and 0 milliseconds. 10. I whispered. Who's watching? The counter paused dot for 1 second dot then resumed 0 minutes 11 seconds and 0 milliseconds. 12 dot my reflection in the mirror looked normal. Tired dot pale dot but normal. Except there was something wrong with the laptop's reflection. The green light in the mirror was slightly brighter than in real life dot subtle dot but noticeable. I leaned closer to the mirror. The reflection leaned closer too. But the timing felt off dot not delayed. Just slightly too smooth dot like higher frame rate. I blinked dot my reflection blinked dot but for a split second. The reflection's eyes remained open. After mine closed, I stepped back abruptly. The reflection corrected itself instantly. Perfect sync dot my breathing quickened. The phone notification updated. Viewer count. 1. I felt the cold spread through my shoulders. Viewer singular. Someone was connected, watching through a device that wasn't supposed to be on. I reached for the power outlet in the bathroom. Plugged the laptop charger out. It wasn't plugged in. Of course, wasn't. The battery should be drained by now. But the green light didn't flicker, didn't dim, didn't change. My phone vibrated again. The viewer count changed. Viewer count 2. I looked at the mirror. Only one of me stood there. But the green light in the reflection looked like a second tiny eye, just slightly offset, like 2 lenses instead of 1. I whispered, no. The viewer count increased again. 3. I slowly lifted my hand and waved at the mirror. The reflection waved back, but the laptop in the reflection tilted slightly upward. As if adjusting angle, pointing directly at my face. The real laptop had not moved. The viewer count 4, and then a message appeared on my phone screen. No sender. Just text. We can see you clearly now. The green light flickered once, then steadied. And for the first time, I realized the worst part wasn't that someone was watching. It was that the system didn't need to be on, which meant the camera wasn't using my operating system. It was using something else. Something already active. Inside. I didn't sleep that night. I left the laptop on the bathroom counter. The green light stayed on until sunrise. At 6:12 a.m. it turned off. No warning. No fade. Just gone. My phone notification disappeared at the same time. The live session banner vanished from the notification. History. No record. No log. No trace. If I hadn't been staring at it for hours, I might have convinced myself it never happened. I went to work. Tired. Distracted. Every few minutes I checked my phone. No alerts. No suspicious sign-ins. Everything looked normal. Too normal. That night, I decided to test something. I placed the laptop in the center of my living room table, made sure it was fully powered down. Battery at 3%. Then I waited. 11:48 p.m. Nothing. 12:22 a.m. Still nothing. 1:39 m. My eyes were burning. I almost gave up. And then 1:43 m. The green light turned on, exactly the same time as the night before. The laptop was still off, the screen black, but the camera indicator glowed steadily. My phone buzzed instantly. Live session started. Duration 0:01. Viewer count 1. Didn't move this time. I didn't react. I just watched the counter tick upward. 0 minutes 5 seconds and 0 milliseconds. 9. 0:12. Viewer count 2. I slowly picked up my phone and opened the camera app. Switched to front facing. The image showed my face in the dim room. Normal. I switched to rear camera. The laptop sat on the table. Green light visible. Steady. I lowered the phone. And then I did something deliberate. I stood up and walked behind the laptop, out of its viewing angle. At least I thought I did. My phone VIBRATED. Viewer count 3. That didn't make sense. If no one could see me, why did the count increase? Slowly, I walked further, into the hallway, out of sight. The green light remained visible from the living room, but I wasn't in front of it anymore. The viewer count jumped. 5. My pulse quickened. I stepped back into the living room. The count dropped. 4. I froze. It wasn't random. It was reacting to positioning. I moved slightly to the left. The count flickered, as if someone were trying to get a better angle. I crouched suddenly. The viewer count spiked. 0.7. My throat tightened. They weren't watching the room. They were watching me. Specifically me. I reached for the laptop, turned it so the lid faced the wall. The green light remained visible in the seam. The viewer count stabilized. 2. Then slowly increased again. 3, 4. I grabbed a blanket from the couch, threw it over the laptop completely. Thick. Dark. No gap. No opening. The green light dimmed slightly beneath the fabric, but didn't go out. Viewer count 6. I backed away. The blanket shifted slightly. Not dramatically. Just enough that a small fold opened near the hinge. The green glow intensified there. My breathing grew shallow. I approached carefully, lifted the blanket. The laptop hadn't moved. At least not visibly, but the angle felt different, like it was slightly tilted upward. I checked the hinges. Normal. Unchanged. My phone vibrated again. A new notification appeared. Second camera detected. I froze. Second camera? I opened device settings. Under camera permissions, there were now 2 active video sources. Integrated. Webcam unknown video device. I don't own a second camera. I scanned the room slowly. TV. Router. Phone. Nothing else with a visible lens. The viewer count jumped again. 9. I turned slowly toward the TV. The standby light was off, but the black screen reflected the green glow from the laptop. And something else. A faint red dot high on the wall, near the ceiling corner. SQUINTED. There was nothing there. Just white paint. But in the TV reflection, a small red light blinked once. Viewer count 12. My heart slammed against my ribs. I stepped backward slowly. The red dot blinked again. In the reflection only. Not in reality. I turned around sharply. The wall was empty. Completely smooth. No device. No smoke detector. No lens. I turned back to the TV. The red dot was gone. Only my reflection remained. But something was off. In the reflection, the laptop lid was open, facing upward. Camera exposed. In reality, it was still closed on the table. I looked down at the real laptop. Closed. Unmoved. I looked back at the TV reflection. The lid was open. Green light fully visible. Camera staring directly at me. Viewer count 15. Stepped toward the TV slowly. The reflection version of me moved too, but slightly earlier. Not delayed. Earlier. Like it anticipated the movement. The reflection reached the TV first, before I did. And in the reflection, the laptop screen flickered on, displaying a grid. Like a streaming dashboard. Tiny squares, each square showing the same room. From slightly different angles. Some darker, some brighter, some closer. All pointed at me. The viewer count jumped to 23. I spun around. The real laptop was still closed. Dark. Silent. But the green light burned brighter now, almost vivid. My phone buzzed again. A message appeared. No sender. Just text. Angle optimization in progress. The red dot blinked again in the TV reflection, this time lower, closer to my shoulder height. As if it had moved. But the wall behind me was still blank. I whispered, "This isn't real." The viewer count increased. 28. Then colon 31. My breathing became audible in the quiet room. And then something happened that made my blood run cold. The viewer count began decreasing. Rapidly. It stopped at 1. Silence. My phone displayed Primary viewer connected. Primary. The same word from before. A cold weight settled in my chest. The TV reflection shifted slightly. The version of me in the reflection wasn't looking at the laptop anymore. It was looking behind me. Directly over my shoulder. Slowly. The reflection version's mouth moved. I didn't move mine, but I could read it clearly. Don't turn around. My phone vibrated one more time. A final message appeared. Audio channel opening. And from the laptop's still closed A, faint sound emerged. Very soft, almost like static. Then breathing. Mine. Slightly deeper, slightly slower. From inside the machine. The breathing continued. Soft. Measured. Coming from inside the closed laptop. Not from the speakers. Not distorted like static. Clear. Human. I didn't turn around because the reflection in the TV still showed my mouth closed. And yet, in the reflection, my version was whispering something. Too quiet to read now. The TV screen flickered once. The reflection disappeared. Just black glass. My own pale face staring back at me. The breathing from the laptop stopped. Silence. Then my phone vibrated. Audio channel connected. A small microphone icon appeared at the top of the screen. Active. Without permission. I covered the phone mic with my thumb. The icon stayed lit. The laptop lid began to lift. Slowly. Not dramatically. Just a few millimeters. The green light brightened. The hinge made no sound. I didn't touch it. I took one careful step back. The lid lifted further. An inch. 2 inches. The screen inside was still black. No startup logo. No boot sound. Just darkness. And that green light. My phone buzzed again. Primary viewer requesting interaction. The breathing returned. Closer. Now. Not from the laptop. From the room. Behind me. I forced myself not to turn around. Instead, I looked at the reflection in the TV again. This time, there were 2 figures in it. Me. And someone standing directly behind. Same height. Same build. Same hoodie. But slightly darker. Like the contrast had been lowered. The second figure leaned forward, slightly. Closer to my ear. And in the reflection, its mouth moved. The audio from the laptop synced perfectly. Stay still. I felt cold air near my neck, but nothing touched me. My phone vibrated again. Viewer count. 1. Still 1. Only 1. The primary viewer. Which meant the one behind me wasn't a viewer. It was connected differently. The laptop screen flickered faintly. For a split second, I saw an image. Not my living room. Not the present. It was the same room, but darker. Empty. No furniture. No lamps. Just walls. Bare. And in the center, a chair. Facing the camera. The timestamp in the corner read 2:17. Then the screen went black again. The lid was now halfway open, but the system was still off. My phone displayed a new notification. Camera switching to rear mode. The green light flickered once. Then a second light appeared. Faint. Blue. Near the hinge. I'd never seen a blue indicator before. The breathing shifted position. Now. It sounded like it was coming from directly in front of me. From the laptop itself, the reflection in the TV changed. Again. Now only one figure stood there. But it wasn't me. The posture was wrong. Slightly straighter. Head tilted at a sharper angle. And in the reflection, the laptop was fully open. Screen on. Displaying me. Standing there. Frozen. But in that version, the room was empty except for the chair. The same chair from before. The reflection version of me walked toward it. Sat down. Folded his hands calmly in his lap. Looked straight at the camera. And smiled slightly. The audio from the laptop became clearer. Not breathing anymore. Just a voice. My voice. But calmer. More controlled. You shouldn't have covered the lens. My throat tightened. The real laptop lid lifted another inch. Now 3/4 open. The screen inside remained black, but faint outlines began to form like a backlight. Warming up. The voice continued. When you block the camera, it switches perspective. My phone buzzed again. Secondary capture engaged. I slowly lifted my hand into the air. Just slightly. The reflection in the TV didn't match immediately. It moved a fraction of a second. Later. Delayed. Like it was buffering. Then it caught up. The voice from the laptop whispered, "Too slow." The laptop screen suddenly flashed white, blinding for a split second. Then resolved into a clear image. It wasn't the living room. It wasn't the hallway. It was my face. Close up. Staring at the screen. But the expression was wrong. Not afraid. Not confused. Just observant. Analyzing. Behind that version of me, the room was empty. Except for the chair. The version on screen leaned closer to the camera. And spoke. "You're still thinking you're the primary." My phone vibrated violently now. The device list opened automatically. There were 3 entries. Integrated webcam. Active unknown video device. Active local feed. Archive. My chest tightened. The voice continued. Every night at 1:43, a selection happens. The screen zooms slightly closer to the other me. "You've been selected." The green light on the laptop pulsed in rhythm. Like a heartbeat. I whispered, barely audible. "For what?" The room grew quiet. Even the electrical hum seemed to fade. The version of me on the screen smiled faintly. "To observe." The laptop lid snapped fully open. The screen went dark again. The green and blue lights both stayed on. And then, from the TV reflection, the chair in the empty room disappeared. The version of me standing there looked around calmly. And turned towards something. Off-frame. As if someone had entered. The audio from the laptop whispered one final sentence before cutting to silence. "Primary viewer confirmed." My phone screen changed to a simple black background. White text in the center. "Next session begins at 1:43 a.m. Below it. "Seat reserved." The time on my phone read 2:11 a.m. I stood, alone in the living room. The laptop open. Screen. Dark. Lights glowing. No breathing. No voice. Just silence. But I understood something now. The first night, they were watching. The second night, they were positioning. Tonight, they were assigning. And if a seat was reserved, that meant someone had to sit in it. I didn't wait for the next night. At 2:19 a.m., I grabbed the laptop and walked straight to the kitchen. If this was hardware, I could destroy it. If it was software, I could wipe it. If it was something else, I didn't want it in my apartment. I placed the laptop on the counter. The green and blue lights still glowing steadily. No screen. No system. Just the indicators. I unplugged everything connected to it. No charger. No cables. Nothing. Then I did something impulsive. I slammed the lid shut as hard as I could. The sound echoed through the apartment. The lights didn't go out. I picked it up. Dropped it onto the tile. Floor. Once. Twice. The casing cracked slightly near the hinge. The screen inside flickered for a split second. Even though it was supposed to be off, a faint image appeared. The chair. Still there. Waiting. The green light blinked. Then steady. My phone buzzed. Hardware integrity reduced. Capture rerouted. I froze. Rerouted? The TV standby light turned on by itself. Soft red glow. Then the screen powered up. No input screen. No channel. Just a black background. Then the same empty room appeared. From a new angle. Wider. The chair centered perfectly. The time stamp in the corner. Read 1:43 a.m. Tomorrow's date. The TV speakers crackled. A faint voice came through. Not distorted. Not echoing. Clear. "You're misunderstanding the function." I stepped back. The voice continued calmly. "The device is not the source." The green light on the broken laptop pulsed once. Then went dark. For the first time. But the TV Image remained. My phone vibrated again. Camera access. Mobile device. The small white dot near my phone's front camera turned on. I flipped it around instantly. The screen showed my face. Normal. But the background was not my kitchen. Behind me, on the phone screen, was the empty room. With the chair. I slowly turned around. In reality, the kitchen was still there. Cabinets. Counter. Broken laptop on the floor. I looked back at the phone. The empty room remained. Stable. Unmoving. The chair slightly angled. As if someone had just stood up. The voice from the TV continued. You believe you are being watched. A pause. But observation is reciprocal. The TV screen zoomed slowly toward the chair. Closer. Until the frame filled with the seat itself. Worn fabric. Slight indentation in the cushion. The voice lowered. Every session requires 2 positions. My chest felt tight. One to sit and one to watch. The phone camera feed flickered. For a moment, my face disappeared from the preview, replaced by the chair. From eye level. As if I were already sitting there. My breathing sounded different. Slower. Calmer. The preview snapped back to my kitchen. The voice asked gently, do you understand which one you are? I shook my head instinctively. In the phone preview, the version of me did not. He remained still. Eyes focused. Calm. Watching. The TV image shifted. Now it showed my living room. From the laptop's original angle. But I wasn't there. The room was empty. Completely empty. No furniture. No couch. No table. Only the chair, placed in the center. Facing the camera, the timestamp ticked forward. 1 hour 43 minutes 12 seconds and 1 millisecond. 43 to 13. The TV audio softened. You attempted to disconnect. The image zoomed slightly. You attempted to destroy the interface. The timestamp advanced. 1 hour 43 minutes and 21 seconds. But the seat remains. My phone buzzed violently. The screen turned black again. White text appeared. Primary viewer, pending confirmation below it. Please take your seat. The TV image stabilized. The empty room now looked familiar. The walls were shaped like my apartment. The window placement was identical, but stripped. Minimal. Reduced. As if my apartment had been converted into a studio, a stage. The chair in the center felt heavier. Now. Intentional. Not random. The voice spoke one last time. If you do not sit, the system will assign. My throat tightened. Assign? My phone vibrated again. Secondary candidate. Detected. The TV image shifted. The empty room flickered. And for a split second, another version of me appeared in the doorway. Looking confused. Like I had the first night. Standing at the threshold of the room, looking at the chair. The voice lowered further. Seats cannot remain empty. The TV went black. Silence filled the apartment. The broken laptop on the floor was completely dead. Now. No lights. No hum. Just a cracked shell. My phone returned to the home screen. No notifications. No active camera indicator. Everything looked normal. I stood there for a long time, trying to slow my breathing, trying to think. If I don't sit, someone else will. Another version. Another night. Another 1:43. The system wasn't punishing. It was scheduling. And I was on the list. The clock on my wall read 2:28 a.m. The next session was still hours away. But I understood something clearly now. The seat isn't physical. It's perspective. Whoever sits becomes the primary viewer. Whoever doesn't becomes content. And somewhere in the building, or maybe in another apartment, another green light might already be on. Waiting for someone else to notice it. I didn't sleep. I didn't try to fix the laptop. I didn't call anyone. I just sat in the living room with the lights off, watching the wall clock tick toward 1:43 a.m. The broken laptop remained on the kitchen floor. Dead. Cracked. Silent. If this were about hardware, it would have ended there. But I knew better now. At 1:42 a.m., my phone screen lit up on its own. Black background. White text. Session INITIALIZING. No sound. No vibration. Just the text. The air in the apartment felt heavier. Like pressure building before a storm. 1:4 2:50. The TV turned on. No remote. No input. The empty room appeared again. The chair centered in the frame. But something was different. The room looked clearer. More detailed. Like resolution had increased. I could see texture in the walls, subtle shadows, dust in the air. The timestamp in the corner. Read 1:42:55. My phone vibrated softly. Primary viewer. Final confirmation required. Below it, seat available. I swallowed. I didn't move. The TV image flickered slightly. And then, in the doorway of the empty room, figure appeared. It was me. But not the calm version. Not the controlled one. This version looked confused. Breathing quickly. Looking around. Exactly like I had on the first night. The timestamp ticked forward. 1 hour 43 minutes and 0 seconds. The green light appeared. Out on the laptop. Reflected in the TV image. A small dot near the top of the frame. Watching the room. The voice returned. Soft. Neutral. Double quotes. Selection window open. The confused version of me stepped further into the empty room. Looked at the chair. Hesitated. The voice continued. Primary viewer must occupy seat. My phone screen brightened. A single button appeared. Sit. I didn't touch it. The TV image zoomed slightly. The confused version turned toward the camera. Toward me. Like he could see me through it. The timestamp. Advanced. 01:43:18. The voice lowered. If primary does not sit, secondary will be assigned. The doorway flickered. Another version stepped into frame. Calmer. Straighter. Posture. Watching the confused one. Watching the chair. The air in my real apartment felt colder. Thinner. I understood now. There were always two. The one who notices and the one who accepts. My phone vibrated harder. The button pulsed. Sit. The calm version and the TV image walked slowly toward the chair. The confused version stepped back. Like giving space. Like understanding what was about to happen. The voice whispered, "Observer position stabilizes identity." The calm version sat down, folded his hands, looked directly into the camera, and the moment he did, the TV image shifted. Now it was showing my living room. From the laptop's original angle. I was still standing there. In front of the TV. Watching. The calm version's face appeared in a small overlay window in the corner. Watching me. My phone screen changed. Primary viewer. Confirmed below it. Archive initiated. The air in the apartment shifted. Not violently, just subtly, like something aligning. I looked down at my hands. They felt lighter, slightly delayed. The TV image zoomed in on me. Standing there. Uncertain. The calm version in the corner overlay spoke clearly. No distortion. No echo. "You waited too long." My chest tightened. "I didn't sit," I whispered. He tilted his head slightly. "You did." The overlay window expanded. Filling half the screen. I saw him sitting in the chair. In the empty room. Looking. Steady. Stable. Watching. And then I realized the perspective had changed. The TV was no longer showing him in the chair. It was showing my living room. From eye level. From the height of someone sitting. The camera angle was lower now. Grounded. Stable. Primary. I wasn't standing anymore. Not from the camera's perspective. I was the one being observed. My phone screen went dark. White text appeared. Seat secured. The TV image faded slowly. The empty room disappeared. The chair vanished. The green light in the reflection dimmed. The apartment returned to normal lighting. The TV turned Off. Silence. I stood there. Alone. No notifications. No breathing. No voice. The broken laptop remained. Broken. Dead. Everything looked ordinary. Too ordinary. I walked slowly to the kitchen. Picked up the laptop. No lights. No heat. Just cracked plastic. I carried it back to the living room. Set it on the table. Closed. Inactive. And then at exactly 1:43 a.m. the next night, without warning, the green light turned on again. Not on the broken laptop. On my phone. Near the front camera. Steady. UMBL. INKING. My phone screen lit up. Black background. White text. Viewer count 1, and beneath it, seat available. The apartment was silent, but somewhere, on someone else's device, a small green light was turning on, and they were probably staring at it, trying to decide if it was just a glitch.